Well, good morning, everybody, and what a pleasure it is to be back here, of course. After race one, we witnessed an absolutely stellar display from Enzo Trulli, but now this time it's race two, a different story. And around this circuit of the Algarve International Circuit, the layout, the Grand Prix track that has existed since 2008, 15 corners, 4.653 kilometers, 2.891 miles, lay in wait for all these drivers as we now get set to go racing here for race two, here in round one, here in the Euroformula Open Championship. It's a pleasure to be here with conditions that are pretty ideal, to say the least. Not necessarily too hot, but at the same time, not cold at all. And we'll give these drivers certainly the best chance possible of securing some great results. Obviously, at the top end of things, it will be Cian Shields starting on pole position, given the fact that he finished obviously sixth place from the grid results, and naturally Bryce Aaron will be joining him on the front row, with Simonazzi sat in behind with Noel Leone along with him too. Because Enzo Trulli, of course, would win yesterday and of course claim pole as well, he will be starting from sixth place alongside that of Juju Noda. What a cracking start, though, to this fantastic championship. We've kicked things off here, certainly the feeder series for many great Formula One drivers. My name is, of course, George Morgan, your commentator for this championship. Joining me and alongside me is Chris Stevens. Chris, are we set? Are we ready?
Oh, absolutely. What a display from Enzo Trulli it was yesterday. His mechanic said to him while celebrating in Parc Fermé, "You won the race on lap one," and that was very much true. He was away from pole position. Everyone else was scrapping behind him. He built up a gap, which he really, really needed, because the pack came back at him, but they didn't have enough time to chase him down. And now he's got to do it again from sixth on the grid with the top six reverse grid race. This being the reverse grid from the race one result, and then of course race three this afternoon being from the qualifying results, which will be top six reverse. So Cian Shields, number 73, starting on reverse grid pole position, only his second season in single-seater racing. A race winner in GB3 last year, his first season of car racing, and I mean before that he was racing in the iArmor Euro series, so he's definitely been thrown in at the thick end, has the Scotsman. Starting from pole position on his debut weekend in the Euroformula Open.
Yeah, race winner at Silverstone in 2022. Alongside him, though, he's got the 23rd driver, of course, Bryce Aaron, and he'll line up alongside is the man from the States. Great to have him here too, also competing in GB3 the same year as well, also taking a race win and 3 podiums to his name. And he has a great chance of doing just that here. Francesco Simonazzi, seasoned competitor here in the Euroformula Open, gives us a wave as well. And a love heart to match too. Will obviously have big intentions on his mind. But have a look at this man, Noel Leone, who was also very, very keen to make places yesterday. The Mexican who was excited to be driving this car, fresh from the Formula Regional Championship last season. He's now stepping across to Euroformula today as well. And we'll be looking for the big results too. Here's Tim Tramnitz, a very exciting prospect for this season.
Absolutely, very much a latecomer to the championship. He was announced only this week and hasn't even tested the car since 2021. And yet somehow he still managed to stick it on the front row of the grid and finish second yesterday. Incredibly impressive stuff from the young German.
Yeah, Juju Noda as well, who lines up, the Japanese superstar. Obviously looking to try and gain some big results here. Danish chef 4 back in 2020 with 1 win, 4 podiums and 3 poles. And back in 2021 as well, 2 wins, 8 podiums, 2 poles. Also taking part in W Series in 2022. And now will be taking place here on the grid in the Euroformula Open Championship. Here is Vladimir Netashil, who joins us on the grid this time. Did not race yesterday, but returns here, does the check. Great to see him as well. Always a character in the paddock, and we'll be looking for a big result too. He's also had a vibrant history as well, taking place as well in the Euroformula Open Championship last season, and great to see him back.
And of course, Jakob Bergmeister starting on the back row of the grid because his car didn't start.
Highlights here from the Euroformula Open Championship from yesterday. Our first race, of course, Enzo Trulli kicking things off very, very well. Simonazzi also went looking for the big results too. Went 3 wide down through towards turn 1. Simonazzi going in deep, does the Italian, managing to move up into second after an incredible overtake. Noel Leone also scrapping to try and get himself into the mix. does actually find his way past Timonazzi, and then eventually Tim Tramnitz will also have a go to see whether he can take that third spot away out of Tor a bit. Things started to get really heated as well. Enzo Trilli still holding on to the lead advantage, eventually taking the win, and the first major points of the season going to him. And this is what the championship looks like. As a result, Enzo Trilli with 26 points, ahead of Tim Tramnitz with 19 to his name, 7 points gap. Noel Leone in third, with Francesco Simonazzi in fourth, Bryce Aaron in fifth place as well. And that is your top 5.
Yeah, so of course got to consider the bonus points there for pole position, fastest lap, and indeed the positions gained as well.
Let's take a look at the starting grid. Cian Shields starts on pole position alongside Bryce Aaron. There, the front row. Francesco Simonazzi in third as well. Noel Leone starts in fourth place too. Fifth place is Tim Tramnitz, who starts alongside Enzo Trilli, who would be yesterday's race winner. Juju Noda in seventh, with Paolo Brajnik in eighth as well. Starting in P9 is Jakob Bergmeister, who couldn't quite get the car away yesterday. He had an issue. Vladimir Netashil also unable to set a time. He starts from the back as well.
Now we've got the one light left on the gantry, which means 1 minute, and still a mechanic on the grid who's now being told, "Excuse me, sir, we're trying to have a race. You need to get off the grid." And now I wonder if that's actually going to come back to bite them, because normally you have to have your mechanics cleared for a certain time so we can get the formation lap underway. And maybe this is why we still have the mechanic on the grid, because it looks like a problem for our reverse grid pole sitter, Cian Shields.
Yeah, Cian Shields in trouble and stagnant on the grid as well. So let's sit tight and wait and see what happens. But now it's Bryce Aaron who will lead them through on the formation lap. But if anything can be surmised after what we saw yesterday, remember we had Jakob Bergmeister who stalled essentially at the start of the race. He had his own problems, and you can just see now they're working to push the car away off the starting grid positions. But yes, Bryce Aaron is going to be leading them around, with Simonazzi in behind, who essentially, should there be any issues, and obviously if Cian Shields does have to start from the pit lane or something such as that, if they can get the car running at all, then it's Simonazzi who's essentially going to be on the front row of the grid.
Yeah, it looks like it will be pit lane start if it does get going at all. So Bryce Aaron effectively takes up pole position on the right-hand side of the grid now, as the drivers look at it. And Simonazzi will have been hoping to have got a cheeky toe off of the pole sitter on the run down to turn 1, but of course he's lost that now.
Yeah, certainly has as well. Very close tie-up there between Noel Leone and Tim Tramnitz as they furiously warm up the tyres. There's Vladimir Netashil we're seeing at the back as well. Great to see him back racing here in the championship also. As we now see Cian Shields and lead the way there. Of course, it's Enzo Trilli we just caught in picture. There's Simonazzi, of course, winner last season in Red Bull Ring. Took his first Euroformula win as well. And it must be devastating for Cian Shields here. Starting on pole, to then have your car wheeled away. They're now taking a look at diagnostics check on the car just to make sure and just check whether there's anything that they could solve, obviously prior to entering back into the race, because it's now on ever essentially, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Clock's ticking because the car's already coming back round through the final couple of corners now to line up on the grid. So it'll be Bryce Aaron on the left-hand side as we look at it down the straight. Francesco Simonazzi on the right-hand side, effectively taking a front row start now with Noel Leone and Tim Tramnitz. And of course, for our race 1 winner, Enzo Trilli, that's one less car he's got to deal with at the start.
Yep, certainly is. There is Simonazzi now, and no doubt will want to make the most of this opportunity. Obviously, he will have some ground to catch up on Bryce Aaron, to say the least, but sit tight. This is going to be an electric start. Obviously now it's all on to see whether Cian Shields is actually going to take part in this race. Obviously they're running that diagnostic on the car now, but the important thing is that the track is essentially clear, and it will mean that we shouldn't have any necessary delays.
Well, Bryce Aaron is Cian Shields' Team Motorpark teammate, of course, so I wonder if they told him just take it a little slow on the formation lap to give us enough time to maybe fix the car.
Never know. They both shared, obviously, in P3. There is track as well. Well, certainly out in the pit lane as well. And he'll be watching on to see what Enzo can do. Obviously, Trilli, very exciting race win for him. Obviously, returning here to the Euroformula Open Championship competed here prior as well. Juju Noda lining up as well in behind that of Enzo Trulli and Tim Tramnitz. And we'll eventually see the cars line up as we get set to get ready. Once again, this time for race 2 here in round 1 here at the Algarve, the International Autodromo. The pace car lines up as well, the green flags being waved, and here will come the lights as we now await. Here they come, first light, second light, third light, fourth light, and the fifth light. And it is pedal to the metal, and it is go, 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 go. Simonazzi, I think, got a better launch, a bit of a slow getaway for Bryce Aaron as well, further down, and he's lost another place as well, because enter the fray, No Leone, who moves up into second too. And so, should I say, sorry, no, that's Enzo Trulli, who got a big jump. Trulli getting a big jump into second place. No Leone further down as well, currently sat, I think, in fourth, as we're now seeing Bryce Aaron down to third place. But most importantly, it's Simonazzi now who's leading. And look at this is No Leone, and he had a slow getaway.
Yeah, so more problems for some of the Team Motorpark cars, unfortunately. But what a start by Enzo Trulli, up into second place already. He lags behind Simonazzi by almost a second, but a great start, just straight down the middle, absolutely launched off the line. Of course, it's still a foot clutch in these cars. It's only once you get to the FIA F3 level that they start to use the paddle clutches that I'm sure more of the viewers will be familiar with. And very difficult to get off the line, but a cracking start, and Simonazzi is really running away with it now. He's extended the gap by 3/10 on this lap already.
Yeah, Enzo Trulli now 1.2 behind, and now looking to try and gain on Francesco Simonazzi. Unprecedented, obviously starting from 6th, due to the reverse grid rules that, of course, we have here in the Euroformula Open. Of course, race 2 decided by the race 1 results. Obviously, they twist the top 6 around to obviously mean that Enzo Trulli, who won yesterday's race, starts from P6, but now already moving up into second place off the start. Bryce Aaron now down into third with Tim Tramnitz in fourth as well. Jacob Bergmeister in fifth with Juju Noda there in sixth. They're, of course, fighting over the rookie standing positioning, as now we're seeing the cars again get tighter and tighter. Bryce Aaron getting closer and closer to Enzo Trulli in second. They're in behind as well. Tim Tramnitz waiting in the wings too. But a very orderly start. No other issues aside, obviously, from that moment that No Leone had, he's actually dropped off exponentially. He's down in 9th place. And Kian Shields, who's now in the pits as well, confirmed, of course, on our timing screens, No Leone currently in 8th place.
Yeah, so Trulli, I think, running a scrubbed set of tyres for this race as well. I'm sure most of the runners will be. They don't have enough sets to run a new set of tyres for every single session or indeed race. So they have to run a scrub set at some point. Usually they use those in the reverse grid race, as Simonazzi gets the back end squirming out of turn 7 and 8 there, rising back up the hill, but he's still extending that gap. It's now 1.5 seconds. Bryce Aaron trying to set his sights, as there was a bit of a moment there on the entry into turn 11, and that has put Tim Tramnitz right on his gearbox as they head up through the final sector now.
Yeah, Bryce Aaron having a little moment, heading through the middle sector now, heading through sector 3. He's now got Tim Tramnitz as they try and get Kian Shields' car up and running again. But another wide moment again from Bryce Aaron, who might be feeling the pressure here of Tim Tramnitz as they now venture down through the Gulf corner. So a great chance here for Tramnitz. Should he be able to open the door as they now make their way down? Of course, the German now looking to go side by side as they make their way down the straight. Now remember, this is for P4 here in this race. They run now wheel to wheel, heading down through towards the premier corners. Tim Tramnitz looking to go for a send up the inside. He'll take it as well. Brilliant move. Bryce Aaron, though, looking for the switchback as he now haunts the rear wing there of Tim Tramnitz. Can't quite make the move. Bryce Aaron now down into that 4th place.
Now there's a headwind down this straight here, so maybe Bryce Aaron can get the run up towards turn 5, and Tim Tramnitz knows it. He's going defensive on the run into 5, and Bryce Aaron looks for a dive down the inside, but he can't do it.
No, he can't. Very well held there indeed for Tim Tramnitz, who now takes 3rd place in the top 3. Obviously now this will be a podium if you can hold on to it. Obviously we'll need to keep Bryce Aaron in behind. Purple first sector for Enzo Trulli, who immediately now goes hunting after Francesco Simonazzi. If that is indeed a scrub set of tyres, or a used set to say the least, he will obviously put them to work. They will heat up that little bit quicker, and he can then knock away some of that delta in hope of taking on Francesco Simonazzi. And look at that, purple in the middle sector too. He is flying right now, Chris.
Yeah, it certainly is. So the gap down to 1.2 seconds. Of course, it was Enzo Trulli who was the one being hunted yesterday by his Crypto Tower teammate Tim Tramnitz, and now he's the one on the offensive against BVM Racing's Francesco Simonazzi.
Yeah, Simonazzi, as I said before, a race winner here in Euroformula last season. Enzo Trulli, of course, looking to also add to his tally as well, returning here to the Euroformula Championship as he did take part in it prior back in 2021, where he took 4 podiums, 1 with Drive X and 3 with Carlin, and now since then has taken part in Formula 3 as part of the FIA, not to mention with 18 starts to his name with Carlin too. Just further down as well, we'll be seeing more drivers no doubt wanting to enter the fray, but Simonazzi holding on to his own here for BVM Racing, but lurching closer and closer is the incoming Prosaic, gaining the Italian Enzo Trulli, race winner yesterday. That gap now down to 1.2 seconds, and it's showing no signs of stopping.
Yeah, I was about to say fastest lap of the race by Enzo Trulli was 4/10 quicker than Simonazzi on that last lap, but no, Leon's absolutely blitzed the fastest lap in completely clear air, of course, after that very difficult start. He's still 5 seconds away from Vladimir Netesil, which is the next car up the road. He's 21 seconds off the lead in 8th place.
And Oleon having an issue at the very start. He's once again put in a purple first sector, so he's really on a charge, wants to try and get himself ahead of Vladimir Netesil. I mean, the benefits here obviously points are on the table. He'll want to try and lurch himself forward, and Oleon is a very, very fast driver. Obviously had a very difficult run in Freca last season. Look at the bounce back though, really enjoys the Euroformula Dallara 320 chassis car that we have, obviously, for this championship. And you can do plenty with it as well. And with these new Hankook tyres, the degradation is a lot less than what the Michelin was last season, so a great chance for them to exploit these cars that little bit longer, hence why you wouldn't be necessarily wrong for saying that Enzo Trulli could essentially use a used set of tyres, because they simply can go the distance.
Yeah, absolutely, but it's a case of he has to, because they don't have enough, and it was the same in the Michelin days as well. Very much a staple and a strategic element of the championship, and a lock up there from Simonazzi, not for the first time this weekend. Seemed to really be struggling with the front brakes in the race yesterday. So I'm locking up a number of times, and that's not a mistake he can afford now that he's being hunted by Enzo Trulli.
Yeah, familiar sight that we obviously saw in Lagos yesterday when he went through turn 3. Now once again though, he's being chased by obviously that of Enzo Trulli behind. That gap now is down by 2/10. It's now a second apart between that of Simonazzi and Trulli, with Tramnitz in behind as well in third. He was trying to rein the gap in. Another fastest lap for Noel Leone as well, as he looks to knock down the wood between him and, of course, Yuji Noda. He's overtaken Vladimir Netesil, so he is gaining more and more time. His speed is unmatched currently in this race. He's putting in the work. Trulli as well, putting in a fastest second sector, so he's starting to push as well on Simonazzi, and has actually broken within the second as well. So just look at this now. You just see that gap minimal now between Simonazzi and Trulli, and it's coming down all the time, and it'll continue to do so if Trulli keeps up this pace.
Yeah, fastest middle sector again from Enzo Trulli, although the times are coming down for Noel Leon still, because he's the one coming up through the order, and a lot less to lose, but Trulli definitely still closing the gap. It's down to about 3/4 of a second, and then back up to 9/10 now though, so Simonazzi recovering that gap in the final sector just a bit.
Yeah, absolutely right. Simonazzi now through turn 1 at Premier Corner, of course, got to get through turn 2, and very shortly the Lagos bend at turn 3 as well, then up the hill as you then go over the crest and meet Tora Vip, and which is that downhill send into the hairpin. Very easy to make a mistake there. We saw a couple of mistakes by the GT Cup Open cars earlier on. And, as we now see Simonazzi make his way through, obviously needs to keep the car dialed in, but has a very prosaic and very fast Enzo Trulli chasing him on the outset of Tora Vip. They then make the climb out of turn 6. Turn 7 then is upwards right, which is certainly very trying, very easy to oversteer here as well out of turn 8, Samsung. And then they'll make their way through, and you'll see there the rear flick from Simonazzi's car as they now go over the hill yet again. Tramnitz as well essentially he can sit back here and watch everything that's unfolding in front of him here. Well, Simonazzi must be getting a little concerned as he sees more and more of Trulli's car in his side wings.
Two Italians fighting up at the front of the field. Simonazzi from Reggio Emilia, with Trulli hailing from Pescara. And only a few months in age between them as well. Trulli 18 years of age recently, and Simonazzi turned 19 this year as well. So both still very much in the early stages of their career, both kind of returning. Simonazzi in his second consecutive year of the championship, Trulli returning to the series, having competed here in 2021, coming off quite a difficult year in FIA Formula 3, but still finding his feet and looking to get back up on the racing ladder. And we think he's looking to do a Super Formula Lights campaign as well. May well come back and do more races in the Euroformula Open, but it seems like Japan is his future.
Yep, Simonazzi now heading through towards Tora Vip and keeping it tight to the apex as well, as they both feel out. Trulli once again getting closer. He's within 0.7 of a second as now they charge up the hill. Very shortly venture through turn 6 and 7. Now up through towards turn 8 yet again, almost turning back on yourself at this point before you then tee up a run heading into sector 3. There you can see them using all the curb and the runoff on the outside. There's car number 23, of course, belonging to that, and Bryce Aaron, who certainly had a great chance to make use of the start and has unfortunately lost a little bit of ground now on Tim Tramnitz in third. Now once again Trulli looks to get closer, and now he's getting closer and closer all the time, very nearly breaking into that ½ second delta, and Trulli looking venomous here, Chris.
Yeah, he's really closed the gap down now, though. He'll start to feel the slipstream effect down the straight. Of course, he'll also feel the dirty air coming off of Simonazzi's car as well, which won't do him any favours. But let's see how close he can get in the toe here down the straight. It is a tailwind on this straight, as we mentioned, but a headwind on the run towards the hairpin at turn 5, so maybe he'll be more powerful there. But he's certainly closing in. The gap is now under ½ second with 11 laps remaining. So the question now is, can Trulli stay with the back of Simonazzi's car? Can he actually pass him as well? It's one thing to catch, it is another thing to pass. It looked like Trulli was lining up a better exit out of turn 5 here, and with that the headwind, sorry, it may well put him in striking position, not quite into turn 5.
Yeah, he had his chance, certainly, and I can tell you this now, that fastest in the speed trap is Enzo Trulli. He's essentially the fastest man out on track, and now making his way up through towards this next segment. Of course, still in control of the lead is Simonazzi, but for how much longer? You must be asking the question. The BBM team hoping that he can bring it home, but he's got a big fight on his hands ahead of him, as the two Italians will be colliding here at the Algarve. Of course, Tim Tramnitz, don't count him out, he's also within a second of Enzo Trulli, so it's a 3-car scrap here, essentially for the lead of the race as they head down the hill. Once again, sector 3 now is certainly on a promise here, this time for Simonazzi and Trulli as well. Tramnitz just in behind, watching all this happen.
Trulli's wide.
And running wide goes Trulli indeed. Tramnitz now with an opportunity to perhaps bite back here as they come down through Garden Corner, and very soon down the long straight. Simonazzi, though, still in control.
So one little mistake like that has just undone probably 3 laps worth of work there for Enzo Trulli. Let's see what the gap is when they get across the line, but it's looking an awful lot more equidistant between those 3 leading cars. Yeah, gap went back out to over ½ second, so he's got to recuperate and try and gather that time back up, and he's dragging Tim Tramnitz along with him as well, and I have a feeling that Tramnitz is just going to hold back and let these two fight it out, and he'll pick up the spoils of any kind of incident.
Yeah, well, certainly look to try and wait in the wings. It maybe open up a chance should one develop. I mean, naturally, he's in the best position to do so. There's Juju Noda, well, making her way as well. 10th female racing driver here in the Euroformula Open Championship, following in the footsteps of the likes of Tatiana Calderon, who went on to become a prominent driver in the world of F2 and also F3 as well. Wonderful talent, Noda now coming through the next left at Tora Vip and then climbing up the hill as well. Of course, representing that of the Noda Racing team. Of course, in this Dallara 320 chassis. that everyone has come to love, and they can drive this car anywhere they like. They really do enjoy manipulating this around this circuit. So now we see Simonazzi rejoin the battle for the lead as well, and Trulli once again back in proximity within half a second, and is now closing on Simonazzi.
Yeah, looked slightly wide again through 13 for Trulli, although it looks like he's closed down the deficit to Simonazzi ever so slightly. It went to under half a second again on this lap. Let's see what it is at the end of the lap when they cross the timing line. And it's back out to over half a second again. So at the halfway stage of this race, 1.2 seconds covers the top three. Simonazzi, Trulli and Tramnitz, and it's anybody's guess at the moment as to who's going to come out on top between these three.
It's going to be a big, bold question indeed. We've got 9 laps of racing still to go as Enzo Trulli now looks to try and gain on Francesco Simonazzi for the top end. It is certainly 2 Italians at the front with a German in behind as well. Certainly is going to be a long fight, certainly to the end, and Simonazzi trying to take it all the way. Of course, as Trulli now gaining closer and closer and closer, threatening within that half a second delta, and looking to open up the door out of turn 6 now. They venture up through turn 7. Lovely views there as we make our way through that segment. Heading out now turn 8, and then head towards Portimao, up the hill as well.
Simonazzi loves getting the back end out on the exit of turn 8. Almost hold my breath every time he does it, but he's so comfortable with having the back end sliding. And I suppose when you have a car that is less than 600 kilos, a bit of a rarity in active single-seater racing these days, you are able to get away with it. Now Trulli's looking much closer here through the final sector than he was a lap ago. See if he can hold it through these final couple of corners, but may well be in a position. He hops over the curb though and loses momentum, and that may well give Tim Tramnitz an opportunity, because that's a crucial corner to be losing momentum at as you lead on to the straight. He may well just get away with it, but Trulli is absolutely pushing the limits here to try and chase down this win. Gap is now over 0.6 of a second for the first time in a while, and Tramnitz now looks like the one who's going to be on the offensive.
Yeah, Simonazzi, obviously, as we alluded to before, hasn't won since the Red Bull Ring last season. If he can take a victory here, of course, it would mean a lot to him as they now peel through the first sector. Now, this was the moment, of course, the rear just stepping out again. We just see it just sliding a little bit. It took him off track, skipping over the curb. Now, what has that done to the underfloor, Chris? Because that was quite a heavy hit. Yeah,
it's the fact that it's gone up in the air and back down again as well. As we see Nel Leon here, who's got ahead of Juju Noda for 6th place. But what has that done? Oh, this is the move for 6th. Just down the inside into turn 1. Very nicely done. Getting a very nice toe down the straight, I'm sure. Yeah, what has that done to the underside of the floor? The fact that it's jumped up in the air certainly won't have done the car, or indeed Trulli's back, any favour.
I was going to say, you'd feel that, wouldn't you?
He's a young lad, he'll be able to, he'll be fine. And if he's made of strong stuff like his old man, then he'll be absolutely fine. No, but this is looking even closer now. So if Trulli can keep it on the track this time, then both cars may well be in a position to challenge Simonazzi. I don't know if Simonazzi's made a mistake somewhere, but he seems to be very, very fast in this final sector where it counts. It seems to come down through the first 2 sectors, the gap, but Simonazzi's just got enough in that final sector to keep himself out of Trulli's striking range by the time they get down to turn 1. Less than a second now covers the top 3 with 7 laps to go, and this is brewing very nicely indeed.
It certainly is. We're getting closer and closer. A little switch there from Trulli's car as he makes his way through sector 1. Heading down now through turn 3, and they'll make their way up the hill. Of course, out of Lagos now, heading through the next left at turn 4. And then it's onwards to Tora Vip, and there you can see as well Tim Tramnitz, who has been silently waiting, I think, for something to happen. He's just literally sleuthing, watching it. He's got the best view in the house, really, isn't he, Chris?
Yeah, well, it was Tramnitz that time straddling the curb on the outside of turn 5 that time. Obviously nowhere near as the extent of what Trulli did at the penultimate corner. Car didn't go airborne for a start, but slightly less than ideal line on the exit of the corner as Simonazzi and his trademark now at this point, wagging of the tail at the turn 8 uphill exit. You just see the gap coming down ever so slightly here. but then Simonazzi seems to hold the advantage in that final sector.
Certainly does. Certainly Simonazzi holding on to that lead advantage. Surely now probably as close as he's ever been here, with a chance of perhaps usurping that of Simonazzi. Will need to dial it in though, heading through the final corner. Will need absolutely everything in his favour if he wants to make a move past the BVM car. But once again, stretching through that final corner, he seems to have something through Gal, heading out of turn 13 and 14. And this time it looks like Tramnitz might have the upper hand as they head down the straight. Gets right to the rear view wing here of that of Trulli's car. Tim Tramnitz, the German, looking to now take on the Italian in towards turn 1. Enter now Tramnitz through turn 1, and Primera has made the move now, made it stick. He's second place now in this timing screen, and now Trulli down to third.
Yeah, so I think it was understeer for Trulli through that penultimate corner that just cost him the momentum through the last corner and put Tramnitz right on his gearbox, and with enough momentum to slingshot him into turn 1. So now can Tramnitz be the one to challenge Simonazzi in the remaining 5.5 laps of this race? The gap has gone out to nearly 9/10 of a second while Tramnitz and Trulli were squabbling for that position. And with 6 laps to go, it's now down to the young German to try and take this away from Simonazzi. Here it is again. So he's already lost the momentum down the straight, and despite Trulli getting the slipstream from Simonazzi as well, Tramnitz kind of had the double toe actually, and yeah, enough momentum to just put out the inside. And Trulli knew the game was up straight away, didn't fight it.
Yeah, it was a lovely move, smooth move, certainly heading through turn 1. Managing to make the move in towards there. You just see there as well, Jarno Trulli just demonstrating there with the Motor Park team and the Crypto Tower team. Obviously trying to get across, obviously, just some things that obviously he would have a lot of knowledge around. We got Vladimir Netashil as well in 8th place, and also back with us this season as now we see Simonazzi make his way down the straight. Tim Tramnitz, I mean, how much of a benefit, obviously, when you have someone as experienced as Jarno Trulli in the garage, obviously offering that to the team, I mean, that is valuable, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you hear horror stories of racing dads, and they're even worse when their dads are racing drivers. Of course, Keke Rosberg was famously not welcome in the GP2 paddock when Nico was fighting for the title there. And there are plenty of other racing dads who have not been welcome in a few paddocks, but it seems like Jarno's been very welcome in the Motor Park garage, and has been, a little lock up there for Simonazzi once again. That would just reduce the arrears once again. But yeah, Jarno's been very much offering his advice to not only his son but to the team as well, and it's an invaluable experience of a Grand Prix driver.
Absolutely. Currently now we're seeing Simonazzi lead the way, 7/10 of a gap though, currently in his advantage ahead of Tim Tramnitz. Trulli in third after that overtake from Tramnitz. With Bryce Aaron now, who's still stagnant at 4.1 seconds in behind, is now Nolione once again taking the fastest lap of the race. Having a great run, Nolione. It's been a great recovery considering the issues he had at the start.
Yeah, really nicely done. He's clearly still got the raw speed in that car, now up into 6th place, and looking at the back of Jakob Bergmeister, who currently has the rookie class honours to his name in 5th overall. And I think Nolione will be quite happy with that. And here is that battle now as we were talking about it. So Jakob Bergmeister in the 26, Nolione in the 19 behind, trying to find his way through. And the final corner, and it doesn't look quite close enough for a move, but he has been closing down this gap over the last few laps. Nolione, the young Mexican racer who has won two F4 titles in North America before joining the Euroformula Open Championship, the North and Central American F4 Championship, and he's going for the move anyway. Look at that, wasn't actually that close, but completely dived up the inside into turn 1 and goes through into 5th place.
Fantastic move there from Nolione, sent in through turn 1, and then the Mexican can now move his way through, chasing Bryce Aaron. Here's the replay. Just got the slipstream he needed, but leaving it late, heading through towards turn 1. Surprise attack on Jakob Bergmeister, who's now down into 6th, and Nolione now up the order now as we now go back to the lead battle. So this is between Francesco Simonazzi and Tim Tramnitz, with Enzo Trulli waiting in the wings, as well as second behind that of Tramnitz himself. And Simonazzi watching onwards, and what this would mean to BVM as well, who are looking to get the big results. Of course, Giuseppe Mazzotti, I'm sure, will be watching on and hoping that his Italian sensation, Simonazzi, who has dazzled before here in the Euroformula Open Championship, can once again take the top spot.
But Tramnitz 10th and a half quicker on that last lap, and looks like the gap has come down again on this lap. There'll only be 3 left, so Tramnitz is running out of opportunities here to try and mount a challenge on Francesco Simonazzi, who has soaked up this pressure beautifully. The gap is as close as it has been all race for the lead. It's now 0.4 of a second. 1.5 seconds covers the top 3, but Tramnitz now looks like he's going to be the one to challenge Simonazzi in the dying stages of this race.
It might be the case as well that Trulli's tyres might have reached the limits of their best, and obviously now we're seeing Simonazzi and Tramnitz together this time around here with approximately 3 laps still to go, and Simonazzi still holding the advantage as they make their way through tour of it. But just look how close Tramnitz is. Now, vital third sector could yet change everything in what can be only described as the immense story we have had during this race. Simonazzi, of course, getting the jump from the very get-go, much like he did yesterday, but unfortunately fell off until now, where he has really started to push and make gain after gain, and could be in the precipice or on the precipice of taking his first win this season. But first of all, he needs to keep behind the relentless tirade set in place by Tim Tramnitz, who has been closing all the time after overtaking Enzo Trulli. Only a matter of laps to go, and now as they cruise up through the next left now, heading through towards turn 13, looks to be that there could be a potential chance. Look how close they are once again. Tramnitz, can he hook it up through the final 2 corners?
This is as close it is as being. We've said it for a few laps now, but this really is properly close now to the gap coming down constantly. He's definitely going to be in the slipstream down the straight. Remember the tailwind, as we mentioned, that's not going to do him any favours, but he may well still have a run. We've seen it's powerful. He was able to get up alongside his teammate Enzo Trulli earlier. This is it for the lead now. For once, Simonazzi's having to drive in his mirrors, moves to the inside towards turn 1. Tramnitz is going to be forced a long way around. He doesn't go around the outside. He's going to try and come back. Simonazzi runs wide though on the exit of the corner. Is that going to get Tramnitz up the inside? No, he doesn't. But for the first time, Simonazzi's driving in his mirrors. He picked out the tail big time out of turn 3. He might not get the run he needs. This is where the headwind is, and this may well give Tramnitz the run he needs down towards turn 5. Tramnitz again, go to the outside. Simonazzi has to cover. Tramnitz went all the way around the outside yesterday, gets the undercut this time. They're going to be side by side now on the exit of the corner. Simonazzi will have the line into the next right-hander though, so Tramnitz is going to have to try and break this one out. No, he doesn't. Can he get the switch back and get it up the inside? Yes, he can. This is fantastic. Wheel-to-wheel racing. They've not broken formation since the first corner. Simonazzi just with the drive out of turn 8, and he's still able to repel the advances of Tramnitz, who's now looking around the outside. Unbelievable stuff.
Incredible battle between 2 superb drivers. Simonazzi now looking to chase the honours here with 2 laps to go. In comes Tramnitz. What about Trulli? He's coming to join the fight too. Second place in the mix as they look to come in and join the fight. They got the final couple of corners here now on these final 2 laps, and Trulli has gained on the 2 leaders that have been scrapping over the course of the whole of our previous run. As they now peel down through the Gulf corner, it's still Simonazzi leading the 2 Italians now, with a German in between, now powering through down towards turn 1. Here he has a chance. It's going to be Tramnitz now chasing Simonazzi, who goes defensive as they now make their way down towards turn 1. The inside covered. Does Tramnitz leave it late? Makes his way through. Simonazzi closing off the inside. In comes again now, though. Tramnitz enter Trulli, heading through the outside of turn 3. Incredible battle. They come together. They touch. He's in the gravel trap. Incredible scenes, Chris.
Unbelievable. So Trulli getting back up into second place. That has just given Simonazzi enough reprieve, I think, to hang on to this win. But Trulli absolutely stuck his nose down in there at turn 3. And just the merest of touches between himself and Tramnitz, the 2 Crypto Tower Racing boys, just touching wheels there. Tramnitz coming off worse. But wow, I mean, what a lap and a half.
Absolutely sensational scenes. The 2 cars colliding, heading out of turn 3 towards turn 4. Tramnitz and Trulli There might be words after, not quite sure.
Yeah, it's under investigation.
It is under investigation, that's for sure, folks. We're in the dying stages here of race 2 in the Euroformula Open Championship. We thought race 1 yesterday was electric after a brilliant performance from Enzo Trulli. He simply will not be too disappointed, of course. Had the chance to take the win, but another podium and a P2 on the line. But Francesco Simonazzi on his return this season to the Euroformula Open Championship after claiming his first win at Red Bull Ring last season. He's going to venture through the Gulf corner. The face on Giuseppe Mazzotti is going to be a picture, because BVM have secured brilliance here in race 2, here in round 1 of the Algarve International Circuit, the race 2 here in Euroformula Open. It's Francesco Simonazzi who wins here at Portimao.
Unbelievable. I mean, we had to wait for it, but it brewed very nicely indeed in those last 2 laps. Breathtaking stuff. An incredible wheel-to-wheel action between the top 3. Simonazzi, a defensive drive for the ages, driving on his mirrors pretty much that lap. He was going wheel-to-wheel with Tim Tramnitz. Unbelievable stuff.
Fantastic race, fantastic fight. I mean, that entire lap, well, it was a whole lap and a half, essentially. I mean, obviously, we had Simonazzi and Tramnitz to kick things off. Enter Trulli.
Yeah, so here it is again. So it's Tramnitz going around the outside. This time he's got his teammate to contend with as well. So he's not going to go around the outside. He also can't just cut back across his teammate's nose either. So he's sort of in no man's land. Trulli sees the opportunity right round the outside. And we went side by side through 4 as well. That's where the contact happened, and Tramnitz had to bail out of it, and luckily there's enough runoff over there, but look at that, Simonazzi's delighted with that one, and rightly so.
He hasn't quite had a race like this or a win like this in Euroformula. Last season when he won it, it was via a steward's decision. Of course, it was no less exciting for him, but Simonazzi takes his second Euroformula win of his career. Enzo Trulli in second, Tim Tramnitz in third as well. Bryce Aaron finishes 4th with Noel Leone in 5th. Jakob Bergmeister in 6th with Juju Noda in 7th. Vladimir Netishil in 8th with Geert Shields in 9th. Paolo Brajnik was out of the race in P10.
Yeah, the gaps there don't do that race justice at all. Of course, Jakob Bergmeister taking the rookie class win as well. And in the championship, Enzo Trulli still leads, but it's Francesco Simonazzi now up to 2nd place, 9 points away from Enzo Trulli. Tim Tramnitz in 3rd, 3 points behind, and with Enzo Trulli potentially not doing all the rounds here, we can consider Simonazzi and Tramnitz the top 2 in the championship at the moment. Simonazzi heading back into the pit lane. He'll go and celebrate with the BVM boys, still shaking his hands, and the finger guns there in the car. Absolutely great stuff, and Giuseppe Mazzotti, I'm sure, will be hugely excited and proud of his boy Simonazzi. The 19-year-old from Reggio Emilia in Italy. Of course, a few years of Italian F4. He's been with the BVM team since 2020, in the middle of his Italian F4 season. Spearheaded the team's return to the Euroformula Open at the end of 2021. Came alive in the second half of last year with his first win and his first podiums as well, and now his first win on the road as well. Of course, his maiden win coming as a result of a time penalty, and sees the checkered flag for the first time. And there are the celebrations with the BVM boys. Of course, for Tramnitz, it's 2 podiums, a 2nd and a 3rd for him. Truly up to 2nd from 6th on the grid after winning yesterday. And here we can see it again. This is the contact between the 2 Crypto Tower boys. So it's truly up on the inside, and just the tag there. Tramnitz flew off the circuit, and I think just about managed to avoid the gravel trap and rejoin the circuit. But man, what a fight. I wonder what words will be said between the drivers, between the team as well after that. Is that Simonazzi saying he lost his mirror? That's incredibly impressive then to keep keep those cards in his mirrors if he was missing one. Just a reminder, that incident between Trulli and Tramnitz is under investigation. Maybe not so much will come of it, because in the end, they both ended up on the podium, although Trulli did kind of get the move done with Tramnitz being off the road. So we'll see. But Tim Tramnitz, second time this weekend on the podium, in third place this time for the Crypto Tower Racing team. His teammate Enzo Trulli up from 6th on the grid after the win yesterday, finishes in 2nd, but for the first time in the Euroformula Open, Francesco Simonazzi wins on the road. It's his 2nd ever win in the series for BVM Racing, and we can hear from him now with Alfredo.
That was a good one. Francesco Simonazzi, great winner of race 2 here at Portimao after a great final battle.
Yes, it sure was. I was fighting through all the 18 laps. Enzo was right behind me, and I was struggling a bit in some places, so he was really pushing me hard. But then I managed to defend very well and win this race.
On such a track.
On such a very difficult track.
Well done then. Good. Podium now.
Great stuff from Francesco Simonazzi, and the celebrations continue as we look at the highlights from an enthralling race. It was a blinding start from Enzo Trulli that kicked it all off from 6th to 2nd by the time they got down into turn 1. Simonazzi led the way from 3rd on the grid, although essentially 2nd after our reverse grid pole sitter Kian Shields was unable to get away. Plenty of scuffling and side-by-side action in the early stages of the race. It was Tramnitz coming up the order as well. This is Tramnitz taking 3rd place away from Bryce Aaron into turn 1. He was a man on the move and ended up chasing down his Crypto Tower teammate. Simonazzi led the way, but the gap was ebbing and flowing, and eventually coming down to between the top 3. Trulli was really closing him down, but this mistake from Trulli at the penultimate corner put Tramnitz right on his gearbox and gave him the opportunity to take 2nd place into turn 1 and then mount the challenge on Simonazzi. It was a textbook maneuver from Tramnitz and a mistake that Trulli will rue. And then, of course, this dramatic moment on the final lap between the two Crypto Tower teammates as Trulli and Tramnitz made contact, and it was Trulli who came out on top, having been on the inside. And for the first time, Simonazzi saw the checkered flag, his 2nd win in the Euroformula Open, and puts himself 2nd in the championship.
Race winner, Francesco Simonazzi!
And now we can join them on the podium. For Simonazzi, it will be the Italian national anthem. BVM Racing has Giuseppe Mazzotti on the podium for them. The rookie class has Jakob Bergmeister, 6th overall, beating Juju Noda by just 1.7 seconds in the end. Vladimir Netashil winning the Gold Cup for the gentleman drivers as well. He was 8th overall.
To present the trophy will be our authority position opposite the CEO of GT Sport, Jesus Pereira. 3rd place, Tim Tramnitz. Jesus now present the trophy for 2nd place, Enzo Trulli. And to our winning driver, Francesco Simonazzi. The winning rookie driver, Jakob Bergmeister. And to the team boss of BVM Racing, Giuseppe Mazzotti. And to the Gold Cup winner, Michelle. And now for a picture, very late in the show.
So the drivers will pose for the photo. That is the second race of the Euroformula Open done and dusted. We have one more race for these youngsters coming up at 4:25 later today. You don't want to miss that one.